The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to my State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke. Taking a look at the business of Rhode Island is something we love to do here. And what's been fascinating is how businesses have, unfortunately, so suffered during this pandemic and others have thrived. Some playing not so much of a consequential role in battling the virus, others very consequential, and you wouldn't even know it. Thus is the ebb and flow of manufacturing and the business of America. So many intricate parts to this economy. And speaking of parts and intricacy, VIBCO, a company in Wyoming, Rhode Island, meaning southern Rhode Island, off 138, has played an interesting role in even the Pfizer vaccine, something I'll learn about, you'll learn about coming up here from its owner, Carl Wadenstein, who's long been a public figure in the sense that he is on the Commerce Committee, has played a very significant role in the state's overall economic development. I recently saw this article in the Journal regarding the testing program that he has, which I believe is weekly. We'll talk about that. And of course, Carl is hands-on when it comes to running his business. Some time with Carl Wadenstein of VIBCO tonight. Well, there's no doubt that he's hands-on. I think we're defogging or something along that line. Let's put it this way. Carl Wadenstein, the boss at VIBCO, is certainly a hands-on guy, always has been, no doubt, and a guy that'll explain to you how you can actually do things a little bit leaner, a little bit smarter. What's lean and smart in the middle of COVID, I have no idea, but it's been a circus. My friend Carl Wadenstein joins us. How are you doing, pal?
Good. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Merry Christmas. You know, Dan, this is just like you've seen. This is running a marathon through a minefield. This is the most crazy thing that I think could ever happen to our state, to happen to us as individuals, and never mind manufacturing. It's the Wild West.
Well, the country, right? I mean,
the country, yeah.
Your company is a worldwide, provider of vibrating equipment. And before you folks start to think provocatively out there, understand that there's a lot of manufacturing needs for things that go, think jackhammers, never mind everything else that goes on out there. Before we start and we talk about the concept of testing and how you deal with employees,
sure,
and all that kind of stuff, remind everybody what VIBCO does.
Well, just to give scope to some of the listeners. So think about Pfizer now with this vaccine. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever people's persuasion is that they think. VIBCO is a prime vendor to Pfizer. So somewhere along the line, as they're producing this vaccine, a VIBCO vibrator has been a part of that because they have big bins and hoppers and different things that they flow materials down through. And even during the packages that they need to shake to get the right quantities, the right mixtures, and then package them. And then think about the dry ice conundrum, that we have a vaccine that's never been seen before that has to be chilled under supercritical temperatures. Well, VIBCO supplies all those dry ice manufacturers with vibrators to help during the packaging and to help during that process. So our vibrators are used for the most important things like vaccines and chemicals, but it's also used in food production. So for our coffee, for our flours, for our sugars, for all the things, the salts and all the things that we use every day. And we hope that, VIBCO product does that. So it kind of teed us up to be one of these essential businesses from the get-go of this. Because I know Pfizer, J&J, were all expanding their plants to come up with drugs and chemicals, and the people that had Lysol and the things that we were wanting, Clorox, they were all expanding. And our phone, we were busier than a slot machine at Twin River to supply them with vibrators. And had we shut down during that time, those products would have been non-available. It would have been non-available.
It's so funny that you're talking about this process. I don't know what it was I was doing the other day, but I was thinking about. I was thinking about I was on a long drive, and I was thinking about the economy and how the economy works, and the role that so many different kinds of companies, certainly in manufacturing, software, that kind of thing, but mostly in manufacturing. The role that so many companies that you would not notice play in the production and the outcome of things that we see on our tables, that we see in our garages, that we see in our businesses every single day. It's not, none of it is necessarily regulated, orchestrated, but organically placed. The economy is a very interesting. I mean, obviously, it's an understatement to suggest this, but the economy is an incredibly interesting animal in the sense that, you know, your company that, you know, you had been in your family for years, you know, plays such a vital role in things that people would not even guess. And there's probably, to get that Pfizer vaccine out, there's probably what, 24 companies that are providing process stuff to get the thing to where it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Yes, they're critical assets in making this economy work. It's very fragile. So think about the pieces that could have hampered this vaccine, and it has hampered the vaccine, because if the news was correct, that the quantities that they were going to deliver were hampered by their supply chain. What in their supply chain fell down? We're interdependent on each other. And if one cog falls down, you can have huge impact on a lot of people, and especially during a pandemic. So that's why it was critical we stayed open, stayed healthy. And VIBCO, besides being this global manufacturer, we source from home. We must have 30 vendors in Rhode Island, from foundries to die casting to electrical suppliers to people that grind, that heat treat for us. And these are all mom and pop, medium-sized businesses. So any one of those people, if Rhode Island had gone down and shut down manufacturing on the onset of this, we would have been out of business because my supply chain could not operate. So we were working not only within VIBCO, but working with the state and with our vendors to show this reliance, this interdependency that we had on each other, because we couldn't survive alone, right?
So what's fascinating in that is that in that Pfizer has dozens of supply chain vendors like you to it. You too have dozens of supply chain vendors to you to make your thing to then be a part of their thing. It's a fascinating chain of opportunity and need at the same time. It's amazing. It's absolutely fascinating. In general, how has business been for you?
Well, you know, with a global pandemic like this, Dan, we have competitors from all over the world. We have competitors in Europe, Far East, and China is kind of the arch nemesis of a lot of manufacturers in the U.S. So with their misfortune and the things that have happened globally, we've picked up business for the shrinking of business due to that supply chain coming from Europe, coming from South America, and people finding the hometown player in the U.S. and in North America. So year over year, we're flat.
Where you've lost business, you've gained it, and that's kind of the ebb and flow that you've always experienced. When you talk about essential business, is that self-described, or were you identified in some way?
We were identified in some way, because there is a criteria for essential business, and we're involved in infrastructure work, we're involved in transportation, we're involved in food, all the food plants, and we're involved in pharmaceutical and chemical plants. So it's kind of the trifecta, or maybe more, of these people that rely on us. And our product is called MRO, and MRO stands for maintenance, repair, and operation. So whether a big player, a big food manufacturer is at 50% capacity, they still have to do maintenance. They still have to operate, and they still have to repair things. So we're essential, and our little vibrators, you know, are the beginning step for any manufacturer, that they need to shake and move these products quickly. And if they can't do that, they're not making bread, they're not making flour, they're not making sugar. So,
all right. Well, it's fascinating. just to get an overview, the reason that we invited Carl on the program was the story that caught my eye in the Journal the other day about the testing program that he has there for his employees. He's always had a unique approach with his employees, and his whole lean technology generosity and benevolence to the state is long documented. We'll talk about both those things when we come back on My State of Mind with Carl Wadenstein from VIBCO in Wyoming, Rhode Island. Yes, there is one. Stay with us. To My State of Mind, Carl Wadenstein is the boss of VIBCO, a company that provides a lot of manufacturing needs, is labeled as essential, and whose equipment has a role in the Pfizer vaccine, amongst many other things. Carl, the open door that your company has had is becoming legendary in the state, in that you have been so kind to business on a no-charge basis, bringing plant managers, operations people, CEOs, anybody who had an interest, dumb media guys like me, into your place to see how lean technology can really help the efficiency of business. We'll talk about that again in a second, but the nature of your open arms is belied by this virus, right? Now nobody can walk in unless you know who they are, why they're there, and I'm sure you're really cutting it down. Tell me about your dealings with the virus and how you decided to get to this testing program that got some attention in the paper.
Well, it was serendipitous. Let me tell you this really quick story. Serendipitous that the day before the governor decided to shut down the state, she had a meeting with RIMA, Rhode Island Manufacturing Association. And it was a 7 o'clock meeting, and everybody was scurrying because the U.S. was heating up on canceling flights, doing all these countermeasures for the virus. And the governor had an early morning meeting with us, and I was surprised that she even came, because the amount of information and the amount of things she had to think about must have been astronomical. So she sat with about 40 of us, and she described what was going on in the state and what her countermeasures would be of shutting down the state, shutting down different things. So now here's manufacturers sitting there, and you can imagine the uproar. We were like, you're going to shut us down? Well, what are you talking about? And this is live, face to face with her. You can't do this. We're XYZ. We had Amgen there. We had Takeo there. VIBCO was there. Technar Apex, all the big players in Rhode Island. We're like, how are you going to do that? And I could tell by the tone in her voice and the way she was delivering this that she was nervous. And she was serious about this. And I'm like, I've never seen the governor like this. I said, she means business today. It's like your mom getting mad at you. You know when you come home, and she just has that tone. She's mad, and something's going to happen. So that day, I got together with Dave and some of the other members, and I said, guys, we have to write a pledge. You heard the governor talk about this manufacturing pledge. So I helped co-author that, because we were in the precipice of the 11th day, the 11th hour, the 11th month of just getting axed. And it would have been really tragic. So we started early on showing that we had to do something different, because our people were at risk, our state was at risk, and we needed to control this virus. The one thing that manufacturers know in ACEs is PPE, because we have machinery, we have chemicals, we have operations that if people don't follow strict guidelines, Dan, they can get hurt or die. Something bad can happen. So we had to personify that and really take it to heart that we're fighting an invisible safety risk for everybody and a safety risk for our communities. So we started collaborating with other manufacturers, with the DOH, with a whole bunch of different people. How do we do this? Because this is something we've never seen, never done. And we started on a road of sanitizing everything, because remember early on they said, you got to sanitize. We sanitized until our fingers bled. And we were ripping toilets off of walls, taking sinks off, steam cleaning stuff. We had everybody. The first hour of the day, you can imagine 100 people just cleaning in the building, first hour of the day, for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And that same tempo and that same leadership We were fighting something, and I'll give you another really good metaphor because you have a daughter, I have 4 kids. The first time you change a diaper, I told my people, the first time you're so proud you change the diaper and you come out and you say, honey, I changed the diaper. Your wife looks at me and goes, Dan, you got poop on your sleeve. And you're like, honey, I did. And you look and you go, oh my God, there's poop all over me. I said, guys, this virus is like the poop on you. We can't see it. We think we're doing a good job, but we got to buckle down and do a better job because this is invisible. This is the thing we don't see. And that road is taking us down to, we were making masks early on. After we had written this pledge, we were making masks out of filter cloth here in our shop. You know, and our guys were taking them home and sewing them at night. And we were starting to shelter in place. So what shelter in place was, if we're open, I told everybody at work, I said, you need to shelter at your workspace. So if you're at a machine or you're building things, don't go beyond the force field. We can't socialize the way we did before. You have to be in this space to protect you and protect the people that we don't know that live at home.
Have you had any positive cases?
We had 1 2 weeks ago. In 41 weeks, our track record, Dan, from doing all these wacky things, we had 1, and that was found using the Rhode Island test van that came around. So before we did the Binex test, the instant test, they came around that, and the person was asymptomatic, which was great, you know, and went through the whole COVID flu and with no signs, no symptoms, but we caught them early on and we were able to keep our bubble. Imagine 41 weeks with the number of people we have here and then the number of people that are at home to have 1 case is pretty astounding. It really is.
When we come back, we'll talk about exactly what's going on with the daily testing at VIBCO. And how it feels. I mean, that whole saga. I just let Carl go because I remember how instrumental he was with the Rhode Island Manufacturers Association pledge. It feels like 2 years ago. It's still in this year, in 2020. But, you know, where are we headed? We'll be right back on My State of Mind. Stay with us. With Carl Wadenstein from VIBCO, a manufacturing company in southern Rhode Island that is, you know, an essential business. Carl has done an incredible job of kind of narrating what 2020 has kind of been like here. So, again, right now, you're testing employees daily. How's that work? Give me a quick synopsis on how that works.
So we were the first company, the manufacturing company in the state to get these Binex, these Abbott Binex instant tests. And they came down, they trained us, they certified us in how to do this. So what this test does, Dan, if someone feels like they have a sore throat or a cough or just feeling under the weather, we can tell instantly within 15 minutes, are they positive or are they negative, right? And we don't want people coming in here with the flu, but we all feel like, oh my God, is today my day that I feel a little bit warm? Is today my day my throat doesn't hurt? And we're all questioning this. So that helps us with that. We're also in hiring mode. We need to hire 10 people. So during hiring mode, this instant test, this rapid test allows us to test candidates to know that day and bring them in for an interview and walk them around the shop. As you alluded to, we want to show people what we're doing.
So are you testing everybody every day or just when somebody feels a little bit under?
No, we're testing once a week, because if we go every day, it's just, you know, the tests once a week and then random testing and then testing outsiders that we're allowing into our bubble. Like yesterday, we needed a consultant to come in. We'd put him off since March and we really needed to have him in here. And he came from Northern Rhode Island. So we tested him. We knew that he was able to come in the building. He was pleased that we were testing him because no one wants to come into it and show that, please.
So if I popped in to see you in the building, I'd walk into reception and you'd stop me there and you'd issue me.
We'd stop you before you even got in the building. We'd stop you outside and make sure that area was clear. And we have one person designated to test that's trained in this. We'd allow you in a confined space because if you are positive, we don't want to clean, you know, the whole front area. We want to clean a confined space. And then you'd come into the building and we'd give you an orange baseball cap. So everybody in the building knows as we let outsiders, that's the sign that you've been tested, you've gone through screening, and you've done all these steps, right? Mission critical.
But we only have a couple minutes here.
Yeah.
What's your prognosis?
My prognosis is that, if there's any one time you should stick to your guns and keep holding the faith is now, because Churchill said it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, the dawn is coming and it's pretty dark, and we're going to continue cleaning. We're going to continue scrubbing. We're going to wait for the vaccine to trickle down for everybody, and we're going to do whatever our share is. And we had Rhode Island companies come in the day that they taught us how to use the Binex test. We had TACO come in, and it's so great to share these messages. And any other listeners here, please call us and we'll tell you how to get hooked up with these tests. If you're, a auto dealership, or if you're a heating and ventilating guy, whatever it is, we'll help you get set up with the state.
What's the expense?
Zero. I think you had a famous line, zero. I remember you used to say zero really kind of.
0.0, Dean Wormer.
0. Thank you, 0.0. And this is part of the CARES Act money. And I think Abbott too has donated, or they have another $1 million worth of tests. I think the cost to the test is like $50 to $75. So you can imagine it's an expense someone's paying, but it's zero to us manufacturers and people in the state.
And so you hook it through the state of Rhode Island? Is that how?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I'll send you, for the listeners, where that is, who they should contact there.
Listen, glad you're doing well. The phone is always ringing, and the vibration is always happening. We'll stay in touch. We wish you the best of luck during this entire process. Carl Wadenstein, the dark before the dawn. Well, the dawn's not dark, Carl. It's the dark before the dawn. There is.
Yeah, did I say it wrong?
Of course you did. But
of course.
But listen, we know it. We know what you're trying to say, and obviously that's a very sophisticated operation down there at VIBCO right now. Congratulations on holding it together. We'll talk soon. Thanks, man.
Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year.
Carl Wadenstein from VIBCO. Final word when we come back. Stay with us. Great to be in touch with Carl from VIBCO. Colorful guy, colorful shirt, important role in the economy. Wish you the best for Christmas. We'll have a few repeat programs over the weekend and some fresh programming for you to finish the calendar year next week. Don't forget, weekdays 3 to 6 on WPRO as well. Good night.